Welcome back to another episode of Odd Scoops. Today, we're going to be making fried cheese curd ice cream. Now, this is our viewer's choice episode. So for those of you that don't know, our viewer's choice is I post a poll on my YouTube channel, which is actually live right now if you want to go check it out. And I will give you 3 options to vote on. And whatever ends up winning, that's what I will make. And in this case, fried cheese curds ended up winning. So that's gonna be our ice cream of choice for today. So this one was really interesting to try to figure out. So after going back and forth for a while, I think I landed on a good game plan. So I think the plan for this is I'm going to be taking not the fried cheese curds, but plain cheese curds that I've gotten, and I'll be using these and melting them down into our milk base to kind of get some of that flavor. Then as for the fried part, I might take a few of these and steep them in the milk to get some of the fried flavor. But then other than that, I think I will save some of these for the end and use either as a mix-in or a topping. I'm still deciding. I think it depends on how the ice cream base goes. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm going to start from this. I don't intend on using a lot of sugar on this because I want to kind of let the cheese and the saltiness kind of be the heroes. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this turns out. I've never done anything like this, but before I do anything else, I am going to go ahead and taste both the fried cheese curd and a plain cheese curd so I know what kind of flavor profile I'm working with. All right, so let's start with the plain cheese curd. That's what that looks like right there. Yeah, that's super good. It's very strong, which is good because we're going to need, that as the flavor for ice cream. All right, now for the fried cheese curd. Okay, even better. You didn't think they could improve cheese, but they did. Definitely a lot saltier, which makes sense because it's fried. So yeah, I think let's go ahead and chop these up and then head over to the stove and start making our ice cream base. Okay, we are over at the stove. We're gonna start with our cup of milk. All right, the next we're gonna add our cheese curds that I chopped up. I'm using a ½ cup of these, and we can adjust from there, but I figured ½ cup should be enough for our 1 cup of milk. And currently I have the stove on a kind of low medium right now, and so that should kind of let this heat up enough to melt the cheese, but not enough to start curdling or burn and stuff. But I will keep an eye on that to prevent anything that could go wrong with that. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm also including 3 of the fried cheese curds. Now, these ones I will steep out later. This is more just to get that fried flavor, kind of the greasy flavor in there. And if the cheese curd that's inside happens to melt in, that's great. But this is just more of that additional kind of fried flavor that we want. All right, you can already tell that the cheese is starting to melt. It's kind of clumping together. All right, I think that is good to go. You can see it's gotten a little slightly darker yellow. That is most likely from all of the oil that's steeped out of the fried cheese curds. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool a little bit. And then I'm going to take this over to the counter and we'll go ahead and strain all of the leftover chunks out of this so it's a nice smooth consistency. Okay, so this is our concoction right now. I'll go ahead and strain out all of the chunks that are in there. Now you can see here there's more than just the fried cheese curds, it's the regular cheese curds too. And I might try adding a small chunk of the cheese curds in there just to kind of add some of that fresh cheese flavor in there, and that shouldn't be any of. Now this right here is just our cheese curd milk, and this smells exactly like the cheese curds. Like as soon as I open the bag, this is what it smells like. So this is an amazing smell, and you can already see, I don't know if you can see, but at the top there's kind of those oil bubbles. And those oil bubbles are from steeping of the fried cheese curds. But I only ended up doing 3 because I didn't want to add a bunch. Hopefully that wasn't too many. I don't think it will be, but only one way to find out. Now I was debating how to add some sweetness to this so it didn't just taste like just frozen cheese milk. So I thought something that could tide that over would be kind of in that cream cheese area. So after a while, I landed on using a cream cheese frosting. And I think this cream cheese frosting adds a nice kind of subtle sweetness to it while still kind of keeping in that cheesy kind of subtle dairy flavor that we're at. So I'm going to try adding just about a spoonful of cream cheese frosting, and I think this should incorporate better than adding straight sugar. Now I'm also going to be adding a little bit of sea salt here just to kind of enhance that saltiness of the cheese curds. And I almost forgot, but I am going to be adding a little bit of guar gum to this to help thicken it. Okay, I think this is ready to go ahead and pour. All right, that's what that looks like right there. Still smells exactly like the cheese curds, so I'm really excited. I think one thing I am concerned about is how this translates to being a cold ice cream, because right now it's closer to like kind of a watery cheese sauce. I think all that's left to do is put it in the freezer. See how it turns out tomorrow. Okay, it is the next day. Let's see how this turned out. That is very interesting. I don't know, you can see, but there's like this big crack in there. I'm wondering if because there was so much cheese added to this is acting like cheese already, and so it's starting to crack from being in the freezer. Really interested to see how this does when it is blended up in the Ninja Creami. Still getting a strong cheese curd smell, which is what we want. I think let's go ahead and throw it in the Ninja Creami. Okay, this is looking pretty, dare I say, cheesy. You can kind of get a good look there. I can't really see any of the cheese curd chunks that I put in as a mix-in for this, but that makes sense. It's white cheese and a white ice cream, so it's gonna blend in pretty well. But that should be a nice kind of textural difference when tasting this ice cream. Still really strong cheese curd smell to it. Nothing smelling funky about it at all. So yeah, consistency wise, this seems like it held up pretty good, but I'll know better once I start serving this up. All right. It's got a good scoop to it. And then for a topping, off camera, I took a cheese curd and I diced it really thinly and then fried it up a little bit to create kind of this kind of crumble you can put on top. So yeah, that's what that looks like right there. Looking pretty appetizing for a cheese curd ice cream. So yeah, I think there's only one thing left to do and give this a try. Bon appetit.
Would you like some cheese on top, sir?
Why, yes. Give me a heart attack amount.
Oh no.
Well then, this is definitely cheese curd ice cream, without a doubt. I'm gonna go in for one more taste just to make sure. I'm actually really impressed with how accurate I was able to get the flavor for fried cheese curd. Like not just cheese curd, but fried cheese curd. If I gave this to you blindfolded, you would be in that ballpark pretty easily. I think this is by far my best savory ice cream I've done. Most of the savory ice creams I've done have been misses, but this one I think is the most successful savory ice cream I've done. Yeah, having the white cheese curds in there was really great. Probably my favorite part of this whole thing. They blend really well together, but consistency-wise, you get something different to kind of chew on in there, and it's really nice. They're not too hard or anything. I will say though, with the fried cheese curd bits, I still really like those, but they didn't end up as crispy as I would have liked. I think adding them on there and them getting cold kind of made them a little chewy, but they were still good, but it was just not quite how I envisioned it. But all of it together, 100% you can tell this is a fried cheese curd ice cream, and for that I am super impressed. So as far as cheese ice cream, I think I nailed it, although I've never had it before. I think for the sheer concept, execution, and everything else, I'm gonna give the fried cheese curd ice cream a 4 out of 5 scoops. I think this works really well. There's parts of it I'm not a fan of, but that just might be me. I think for a personal review on if I was given this ice cream, I'd maybe go closer to a 3.5. But because of how accurate this is to a fried cheese curd, I have to give this a 4. I think this nails it, and I know there are gonna be people that love this ice cream. So definitely something different. Definitely something I want to explore in the future with other cheese-based ice creams. So yeah, thank you to everyone for voting for cheese curd ice cream, because otherwise I would have never done this. Fried cheese curd ice cream. It actually can be turned into ice cream, and it's not bad, but also might not be for everyone. All right, it's time to spin the wheel again. Also, quick note, I went ahead and painted the little arrow part there to look like an ice cream cone. So yeah, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what I'm doing next week. So yeah, looks like we're doing corn ice cream next week. So I'll see you guys then.